Welcome to session 16 on combined loading. This is our class on mechanics of materials. This topic is one of the very important ones that we cover and is also quite involved and often a little bit confusing. So to kind of get us started, I'd like to review the 10,000 foot view, and then as we do the problems you'll get into the the details and the intricacies of, well, combining loadings. So I guess before we even talk about combining loadings, I think this slide right here, which would be slide number 3, is kind of important in identifying the types of loadings that we have discussed, that we know at this point. And it's kind of important to remember that there really are only two stresses that we deal with. There's the normal stresses and there are the shear stresses. So we can only combine normal and normal stresses, and we can only combine shear and shear stresses. And in both cases, knowing the direction of those normal stresses and the direction of those shear stresses is also very important, because you're not going to combine directly. We'll talk about equivalent stresses later on in the class, but for a given material element in a given orientation, we're going to want to combine the normal stresses in the same direction with each other, okay? And we're going to want to combine the shear stresses in the same directions with each other. So for example, if you have a sigma x and you have a sigma y, right? For a given orientation of material element, it's important that we keep track. Okay, there's a sigma x, there's a sigma y, okay, maybe there's a sigma z too. That's fine, right? We've talked about kind of stresses on 3D elements in the past. But obviously we can't just directly add sigma x and sigma y to each other, right? They're not in the same directions. And similarly with shear stresses, we might have a tau xy, right? And we might have a tau yz, or we might have a tau xz, right? And so we're not going to be able to add a tau xy directly to a tau yz, but they are shear stresses that are defining the state of stress, or helping to define the state of stress on a material element in a given orientation. Later, what we're going to do is we're going to look at these material elements and look at how the orientation of these material elements affects the depicted state of stress, okay? Or the equivalent state of stress. Okay, so that was maybe a little bit of a detour, but we're talking about stresses and being able to add them to each other. And ultimately, we've said it before, you got to be very careful when you do this. Often we're thinking more about forces or moments that we're adding to each other. And these are internal ones. The stresses, the normal stresses, the shear stresses, these come from the different types of loading that we've discussed in this class. So if you think about it, there are 3 ways to get normal stresses in what we've discussed. We have from a normal force, so uniaxial loading. We have bending moment right here, okay, the negative my over I, and we have the stresses in the thin-walled pressure vessels. Those are the 3 ways we've discussed in this class to get normal stresses. There are 2 ways we've discussed to get shear stresses. One is in a beam with the shear force across that beam and thinking about the average shear stress, or the local transverse shear stress, right, with the VQ over IT. Now got some experience with that. That is pretty involved sometimes. And we have the twisting of a rod. Okay, typically circular, but it doesn't have to be circular. We've talked about some other shapes that you might encounter. Those are the two ways to get the shear stresses. So from a 10,000 foot view or a 10,000 meter view, right, which we talked about for pressure vessels in the last assignment, we're attempting to link the loading to the internal forces and bending moments to the internal normal stresses and shear stresses to be able to then add or superpose these stresses on each other. Okay? And that's kind of the 10,000 meter perspective, okay, on what we're attempting to do in this session. There are many details, okay, many details. I guess as a recommendation for how to attack these types of problems is think, this is session 16, right? Superposition, 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 okay? It's really the name of the game. These problems are complicated. We will get partial credit though if we can figure out what a stress is due to one loading in one direction, right? So we want to pick these problems apart by identifying the relationships, and I guess I'll say by identifying the individual relationships between loads and stresses. Okay, again, it sounds very simple, all right? That said, have confidence that we have discussed all these different types of stresses individually up to this point. So we can do a twisting problem. We can do a bending stress problem. We can do a normal loading problem. We've addressed all these individually. So now what we're attempting to do is combine them, okay? And sometimes it gets a little bit tricky because you're like, wait, that's in this direction or is it in this direction? And again, like we said, getting the direction and making sure that we only add the stresses that are acting in the same direction to each other is also a significant part of the game, okay? Now, do you have any questions about the previous assignments or stuff that you want to cover before we jump, before you jump into this session number 16? Is there anything you want to ask about session 15 or session 14? Is there anything that you want us to go over? Okay. If not, go for it. All right. And I'm here. This one, I hope you have some questions because there may be some details. The problems might be not quite as clear because now we've got combined loadings and we're making some assumptions. So as you're going through it, as you're going through the material, I hope that you'll have some questions. All right, thank you.
Did I miss anything yesterday? I was let's do my test for the other class.
Oh,
wasn't working on it. Still working on it.
Okay, so what we did yesterday is I had individual meetings with people and returned exams. So we can talk, if you like, about that. Does that sound okay? All right, so give me a second to get set up. And then and so that we talked a little bit about technical content kind of at the beginning. And that's on a video that's recorded if you want to watch it. So it's always there. Right. So Ethan, give me a second here.
Whatever USB sticks. I've never seen that before. I'm sorry.
There's 3 different chargers in my bag.
I had a phone charger, then I had a USB, and I used a B, and then I think that's also a cool charger. So you charge phones too. That's it.
Actually, like, scheduled to be here on time. There's always something wrong with traffic. Like today, there's an accident that like blocked traffic. Oh, and I love how it only happens on days where it's like,
Only if you
I'm not gonna be slightly late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reviews.
So you it connects better with my what's it called?
I wait till do
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you go. Yeah. I gotta get you.
Agent?
Yeah.
For what?
My pill case.
Oh, for
my
the
tickets.
for
Yeah.
the tickets?
I can't believe me going to class. This really cost me $100.
Technically 33 bucks.
I got 2 different parking tickets, $50 each.
How do you get two?
Because
Oh, isn't there like a time limit? Like
No,
they can come back and ticket you after an hour?
So we want to the car. I asked class we went to the car. I moved my car to a closer lot. So I got to take it once after work. Like then, and then I got one after the next class. When I moved it to the one near the circuit, but
Bullshit.
yeah. Yeah.
I just gotta play some actually real quick.
Wait, did I show you this yesterday too?
You were not having a good day yesterday, even though
Yesterday actually really sucked. I fucking cried this spot. You do Clash of Clans too?
what?
Do you play Clash of Clans still?
Not huge.
Have you ever played?
I used to be big into it.
I don't really play it. I mean, I do hop on sometimes, but.
Fuck you. I have on so many times.
Recently, I used to be into it a lot. But... So I think a Clash Royale came out too. Alright, so. I hop on sometimes, yeah, but that's not good. I will only get one due tomorrow. One session. Three people with this.
A lot of times that's the case.
Really?
Yeah.
Do people come later?
Sometimes not.
Yeah. I'm actually freaking crazy.
And then
I gotta add you. We should 1v1 after this.
what's that?
We should 1v1 after this now. Actually.
Oh, you probably do.
It's alright. My deck is really good.
What's your deck? Do you
Why do I Fisherman? Fisherman's good. What is report?
That's you love that then.
I literally just put two shards for it. Cause that just came out today, right?
Gimmicks.
That's good. So it's like nothing bad.
Dude, I guarantee it's literally just a money grab.
No, it's yeah. The app's coached it.
It's gonna be such a big, it's gonna be so hard to actually get those.
It was running level 15 now too, right?
Yeah, right now 15 is too hard. The one reason why is because they know that some people are really max accounts, like max code.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, they just people max out so many cards without buying. So we're gonna do this to make them
Have to do some
make
shit.
more money. Yeah, so if we do this, it'll be more money.
And then I respect the hustle.
Yeah, it's working, like good for them. Like, gotta stop making it work.
Yeah.
It's like people getting extra shards. I just want a E-Jack deck.
It's a elite level. What's elite level?
Elite level?
Yeah.
That's what the level is.
Oh,
That's from,
that's level 15.
yeah. 14?
Yeah, I'm level 13 tower. I have a lot of like maxed out cards though.
I'm not whole.
How do I
I'm
add you?
level 11 tower.
I mean, I've had this account for a very long time. So. see best.
Are you also 101?
Yeah.
What is it?
They've added so many rooms. Alright, I got 20 more items. It's too low.
Yeah, right now I only have one campaign.
You're taking going hard. Are you in the game right now?
I don't even know what that is.
Pancakes. There's no way.
I barely know how to play this stuff. I don't know. Oh, I didn't even play that.
Profesor. ¿Qué profesor?
Yeah.
Siempre con eso. ¿Y los demás? Siempre vienen tan pocos.
You have the heroes. I don't know these guys.
Dieron más que pensar.
The heroes. are
Nah,
working
that's
for-
great.
Ayer supe que se
Nah.
Sick.
Yeah,
Nah.
Horrible.
¿En serio? No, seguro me salió el diama. Ya se sabe mi nombre.
No. No, ahí me llamó pensando que era estudio. Me dio un examen y yo digo, ¿qué es el ese
¿Qué es eso? ¿Es para hacer el examen?
Sí,
It's so hard, like it's actually broken.
Me bajó casi 20.5 por esa mierda de no poner compression. Literalmente se apuntó de 3 puntos y me hice todo ese ejercicio larguísimo y por no poner que es compression me bajó la mitad de todo eso.
sacaste la primera.
Creo que me saqué full ahí.
Like your EG.
No, no estoy seguro. Es que
La
yo
primera
vi
fue-
rápido. Yo solo fui a ver si me bajó por comunicación.
Yo saqué full en la 2 y en la 3. La primera fue cuando partí.
Creo que sí era 0. Creo.
No, no me fijé en eso.
I know, it's really good.
Voy a arreglar la cabeza. No. ¿Sí era?
It's like, it's such a fun game.
Era 0, ¿no?
No sé, sí.
Por ahí sabe.
Oh my god. This guy fucking sucks.
What's it up? Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It just you've disrupted the force because you're sitting over here.
Yeah, we're very left side of the room.
Yeah, it's just you know. But I'm glad we have the. I'm glad we have whatever, you know, wherever we congregate, it's fine. It's good.
I brought them to church today. You didn't listen to the side.
You forgot what? Oh wait. Oh.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, of course. Okay. Question 4 of the last session.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Hey Julio, how's it going? Okay, yeah. What's up? Okay, question for the last session.
Oh, if you're starting a new one, it's okay.
No. We already went through we already went through the intro and stuff.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to can I do the questions after?
No. We went
Okay.
through. So let's do it.
Because I don't remember what I was asking. I
Okay.
was just having trouble with it, and I feel like I got a decent amount of the way. Let me refresh myself.
Okay. So it's actually session 15, question 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make sure.
Yeah, we were working with that. You think we understand like how it generally like supposed to work or how it's supposed to go. We just can't
So, completely
solve certain pieces.
So
Es que eso es muy común esto y yo.
Okay, so we were able to find the strain and the stress of the inner cylinder. Are you familiar with this?
yeah.
It's
If you have the gauge pressure, the P, right?
yeah, so you said something about it in the group chat last night, but I didn't really understand.
Okay. So, okay, this is not session 14, this is session 15 we're talking. Okay. All right, so we have this inner and outer, right? Cylinder, okay? And what we're saying is there's some internal pressure P, okay? And that is relative to the outside, right? So this P is the gauge pressure.
Outside is the gauge pressure.
Gauge pressure means what is it relative to the outside?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so when we're looking at this, right, we then break it down into kind of two problems, right? We have the internal one, okay, and this one has a P on the inside, which is acting out. And it also has this other pressure, which we call the PC. That's the contact or interface pressure, right? And then that interface pressure is acting
Join us.
we're very lopsided today. Okay. I don't know. I feel a little extra affinity to you all because you're all like close to me now. No, I don't know. All right, sorry. So then we have that pressure, right, at the interface. So it's like equal and opposite, like this. Does this make sense now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
I was able to find the hoop stress of the inside, which is that's pretty simple, but does that, do I have to find the strain and then find how much it pushes that one and then convert back into stress?
So
Or just do I treat the stress or the hoop stress of the inner one as the pressure of the outer one? I was just how do these connect?
how do they connect? All right. So let's do this. Yes. Let's first discuss you're absolutely right. We're going to link the behavior in the hoop or the circumferential behavior to each other. Okay. So and so this picture that we have is perfectly appropriate, right? We're not really caring about what's happening at the ends.
Yeah.
Okay. Or what's happening into the page at this point.
Yes.
We care about what's happening circumferentially,
Yes.
right? Okay, so like you're saying, let's call it sigma H1 for inside, right?
Hoop stress.
And then we'll call this sigma H2 for the outside.
Cool.
All right, so let's just do it this way, right?
Yep.
And so if we write this out, what do we see? We see that this is going to be P minus PC, right? Okay, and this is going to be R1, right, over T.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, or T1 we'll call it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll say that this other one is going to be PC R2 over
T2.
T2. Okay? So that's very nice, all right? It's very nice, but these hoop stresses are not equal to each other.
Yeah.
Okay? So what we need to do is think a little bit about the geometric compatibility here. Okay? So for this, and I guess for those who are tuning, yeah, I'm sorry. I guess like it's fine, right? It's all good. We're all friends. What is this? Okay. All right. So what's really happening here? What we're going to say is that the interface, right? So we're going to use geometric compatibility. Okay. And we're going to say that the okay. Oh boy, it's like musical chairs. All right, we're going to say that we have the same change in the circumference. Okay, so we're going to talk about the circumference. We could call it different things, but we're going to say that we'll call this. I think. Well, I don't know which parameter do you want to use for. Let's call it delta L1 and delta L2, and this is what we're going to say. These are circumferential. Or hoop changes in length. All right. Okay. So now, all right, let's say delta L1 can be given by 2 pi R1 times epsilon 1. You're like, where did that come from? Well, you tell me, where did it come from?
Well, it's the original circumference times the strain.
Yeah, that's right.
Why is it times and not plus?
Well, what is the definition of strain? Go back.
It's meters per meter. It's okay.
Right, but so it's usually given
L
as
over L. Okay. Yeah.
Right. It's the change in the length divided by the original length, right?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we can say that. We can put that. I don't mind saying that.
Awesome. That makes sense.
Okay. So now what we're saying is that delta L2 is that. Okay?
Yeah.
What's missing? Well, we're missing the relationship between the stress and the strain, right? But we know that.
Because we have the elasticities.
Right. So we can say that the sigma H1 is going to be equal to E1 times epsilon 1.
Oh.
Right? And the sigma H2 times E2 is going to be equal to the epsilon 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so now is it coming together?
Yeah, no,
right?
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we combine all these together, and what do we need to solve for? We need to solve for PC. R2s, we know. E2, E1, we know. We know what the P is, that's given. The T1 to T2, we know.
So we just have to solve for strain.
Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to combine, right, you have, what we also, I guess I should have said this, maybe I didn't say this. Delta L1 is equal to delta L2.
Awesome. I just put that.
Yeah, that's the last thing. All right, does that make sense?
Yep.
So then once we solve for PC, all right, and then we put it in, and then we solve for sigma H2, right? Because it wasn't it asking for the hoop stress?
Yeah.
It was asking for the hoop stress in the outer one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you asked.
That's a good
I'm-
question.
Well, it's a good question because Roy Lance asked that question. So David Roy Lance is I hope he's still teaching. I took him. No, he taught a class I took on polymer engineering, and he did a nice job. He's a really good lecturer. So
Where? Who's this guy?
he's at MIT. He's at
Okay.
MIT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's a yeah. So he didn't teach the mechanics course that I taught. He's in material science and engineering. But I was taking this other course in material science, and yeah, I thought he did a great job. So I'm happy to see that a lot of his writings and his ideas are online. Okay. Okay. Was there another question that you wanted to go over? Here's another question. I'm beginning to wonder. Would you like? I don't know if I want to do this, but here's the question. Should we make yesterday's assignments due at the end of the next day instead of at the beginning of the next day?
Yes.
Yes.
So then we can work on any class together.
Huh?
Then we can work on any groups together in class.
Well, you're already working on it right now.
But need to be more afterwards. I think that would be better.
Would that be better? Or
So you mean today's homework is gonna close
It could be like-
tomorrow
It's
night?
instead of it doing the morning.
yeah? So right now they're due at the beginning of the next class because I'm worried that.
Is it getting pushed back or pushed forward?
So I'm just saying we push it back to the end of class of the next class. So instead of doing it at 10:30 a.m., we make it due at 12:30 p.m.
Okay.
Or does that just add more stress? Because then you're like not focusing on the new material.
Well, then it
Very-
would give me 5 minutes in the beginning of class to get it done, and
Yeah.
then the rest of, like, it would just be this.
Huh?
There's no difference to me.
There's no difference to you. Okay.
I will do it still.
I like that.
Is it just gonna make us procrastinate? Because I'm a procrastinator.
It's often like you work on it and then you get stuck. And then 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we could finish. And then we could do.
Finishing class.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mind. I'll do it.
So it shouldn't take long to finish it. It's usually just like a couple questions.
Okay. I'm still going to start the new material
Okay.
at 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we get that? All right. But I'll make it.
Afterwards, you work on it.
Yeah, but like just now, right? So now, like, whatchamacallit? Like, we just resolved this question in the last assignment. I'm happy to have you be able to, like, do it. But I'm not going to answer every single question from the problem set, okay? We're not going to do that. That would be an abuse of, well, maybe it's not an abuse, but because the people that work hard over the night, right, to get things, they shouldn't just like, oh, he's just going to do it the next day. That's kind of my.
I just wouldn't change.
But then
I'd
you
come to
choose
class
to do
with questions instead of,
You come to class.
like, I treat it as I did today.
So you wouldn't, yes, you wouldn't, okay. Let's
But I gave
try,
this like a 30-minute, like, I gave this a good try last night. I was like, I have no idea where to go.
okay. Well, DM,
I know.
DM,
It's literally,
right?
you wake up.
It's
like
2023.
Like, what time did you go to sleep last night? It was like 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
I went to, this is probably too much information, right? But last night I was moving furniture into a new place we're moving into. And so I didn't go to bed until like 1, all right? But yes, if you send me a message at, too much information for YouTube, right? But if you send me, I'm gonna be, don't send, send it though. The other thing is other people in the class can respond, right? That's the goal, or that's part of the goal. It's harder though because we're a much smaller class, but like last spring, I couldn't even keep up. There were so many messages flying through the group meet. A lot of like dad jokes and stuff too. But people, you'd be surprised. Not many people unsubscribed. Most people did stay subscribed until the final was over. Then it was then as it should be. Then that's fine. Which you're welcome to do for this too. I mean, it served its purpose. I don't think I've messaged that last semester group meet.
Like, hey guys, who's still around?
yeah. So anyway, okay. So I'll do that. But I'll start it tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be so everyone knows for tomorrow. So if you worked really hard last night and you're like, I should get my credit, then you get your credit. But I'll do it for tomorrow's assignment, so everyone knows. That's how we're going to do
One
things.
thing.
Yes.
Session 16 Q1 was due last night for some reason.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a
Yeah,
mistake.
I saw that too.
Okay, well I can change it. So it was still available, right? So
Yeah, it's
it'll
not
just
over.
get
I
fixed.
just did it, but
Yeah, it'll get fixed. It'll get fixed. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, I gotta take some notes. I won't get to changing the assignment probably until later this afternoon. All right, it'll be a little bit later, but I will do it. Okay, and if I don't do it, then I'll do it tomorrow morning. All right, and it will be retroactive. So let me just take a note. So in exchange, though, I would appreciate an augmented effort to be here at the beginning of the class. All right. All right. So okay. Let's see. Let's what we did yesterday. Oh yes, Carlos.
Like, you can like,
No. What's the question? Oh
no,
no.
from one of the questions.
Okay. Do you want which one?
Question 3, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I found like all the shear stresses at A in the formula. I think
Okay. Hold on. Something is interesting. Okay. Yeah. So this is good. This is your torsional, right?
Yeah.
And you've got your
That's the shear going negative direction.
All right. So this one, you've got this force going that direction. Okay.
Torsion. So it will be torsion minus shear. That will be the
Mm-hmm.
net shear force.
Yeah. That's. Let me just make sure because that is. Let me just verify that. But that should be right. Oh, I'm losing all my stuff.
which one is it? Which one? Which one?
So you can go to the left.
But the radius is not intense enough, so you strain one, you strain two.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Also, like, I don't know, there's something wrong with my formula, but I get negative number. I don't know, I'm supposed to get a
this
negative
is
number.
number 3, okay, pretty straightforward. So essentially, number 3 is just what's the pressure differential. This way you just take the, inside is that much more pressure, which is 101 pascal. Then you take that minus the 101 e to negative 0.000112 times 2000.
I knew that, but it was too
Or actually,
Professor, one
It
quick
is possible
remember that.
for it to be
KPI,
negative,
that's also
but
part-
let me
also point.
see what I
You have
did.
to vertically do it. Because that gives you, well, actually, sorry, well, no, that gives you KPI. Gives you 1.25 minus 1 e to 7. Second part is
No me sale de tarea, pongo a ver los videos de.
essentially just
Igual me descargo todo, pues eso.
essentially just take that pressure.
It's so much
Pressure. And you put
No, es que
before,
Yeah, like, you
put all the products.
no, no,
Yes,
rápido,
or like,
pero-
yeah, I've actually done that to them when I was like,
Así que me veo primero el video para saber que has hecho el estado.
Yes.
sorry. For this, the
Well, KPI.
the two high R's on both sides are gonna cancel out, so just, is strain one equals to strain two?
¿Tú crees que necesito
So,
saber-
but the R1 and R2 are slightly different.
Alright, so I have to, for R one, it's minus the
Necesito
point
saber
one
bending moment
millimeter,
para
whatever
poder
it is, right?
So you can typically use the internal,
A uno repaso.
okay? Yeah, but you're right. It's going to be pretty negligible.
I'll just account for it.
Yeah, it's pretty negligible. But just use R1 and R2. Yeah, and usually we use either the internal one. You don't have to usually go through the process of using the average. Good question.
Okay, thank you.
I am working on it, Carlos. Hello, George.
Give me a second, I got this. This is right on the center, right? No, not right.
It's not just the ratio changes, there's so many changes.
And you just subtract it out. Yeah. Basically, it's inside, it's a matchup.
Yeah.
The differential is really the pressure.
Yeah, so negative, my answers are all negative.
Yeah, to
Okay.
get the volume. I don't know.
And then when quick pressure,
I don't
and PR.
I did this in class 16. Let me see.
This is to get the radius from both sides.
I'm just gonna, if we're gonna do a spherical pressure, this is gonna turn on. Okay, find radius from below.
That's why it's 3.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm like.
How's that go?
What's L? Why is it just one?
Because if you make it all right.
The general rule, always work meters go right now.
So T.
For everything meters, Pascals are meters. So, simple.
What's S?
Yeah, and you're using J of pi over 2,
Yeah, yeah,
It's just like
pi over 2c to the 4,
right?
and then for the area pi c squared. That's
Yeah.
what we-
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, I got a new problem now. It's all the numbers are different. Let's change it. This is right.
Should be.
Well.
And you multiply, it's in the C was given in centimeters, right? So you multiply it by 0.01.
Times 1,000.
Centimeter, yeah, divide by 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
times 0.01, that should be the same thing.
What's the formula?
We just PR 2T.
It might just be 1T, because it's a circle. A sphere is no.
Oh, I didn't work.
You're probably right, I don't.
I thought the 2T came out of the fact that it was a sphere. Yeah, right here. If you're designing a sphere.
But the first one, you're right, second one.
What thickness was?
I have a spherical pressure.
And you're using 4/3.
Yeah, for thirds, b over a.
Yeah. And that you're, and then for that you're using pi c squared, right?
Yeah, pi c squared, 3 at the top.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it's not working out.
I don't know. You gotta do this one yesterday, because I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Let me go.
Dying yesterday, and I'm still dying.
And like, you know what else?
So the second one, make sure this is Pascals. And then reference.
Oh.
The L?
I guess we'll do teacher reference, but I would
Take my guess right.
actually like to right now. Samantha Peterson.
No clothes on 3D build. I'm sorry,
What do you
I
use for the?
missed class yesterday. Is it possible to get my exam?
Or?
Yeah, I'll do it. We're gonna do it in a minute. Yes.
Oh, you haven't given that out.
No, we have.
Oh.
But I'm gonna sit down. I'm working on something else, but then yeah, I'll get it to you.
I just see what she said.
This actually was.
No, dude, you wanna see what I racked up last semester?
Wait, it's sorry, extra 100,000. Oh, there you go.
I thought I was invincible to go.
Wait. Oh, wait.
I'm actually 6 good to I mean, I know what it is, but bad. Literally, no, because I went, so I went.
It won't give you the parking citations after you register with your. You can see
It's
that.
looking 70 now.
You have to pick it up.
No, because you can look at, if I look at my name, I have to look at my license plate.
Well, it said that it wouldn't show it's in there.
I don't know.
Wait, did I? smaller, you make it that easier. So apparently you get the first part right, second part wrong. So many different ends that you can start one.
Yeah. Is P minus PC 0?
It's the same number, those, right? It's the same number.
Yeah. The stress is
What is it? What's your, the second part, what's your, do you have it or not ready?
minus what, pushing back.
I gotta change the video.
Does that make sense? Like the PC pushing back to the side. Or like to the
yeah.
inside, like
I mean, I got that's not the point, that's
back inside. That makes sense.
So we only, it's
The stress is just
yes.
Está-
Originally is why both branches are right.
exceeding.
I'm sure.
Caballo.
I guess, for example, it
No
was
sé por qué no me acuerdo el tiempo y la base la 12. Es porque me vi muchos de los que no entendía
Wow.
and force like from the pressure
This is
going outwards, then it would be negative.
this is what I got for that one. That
Hold
situation.
on, so, tell me one, at 16.37.
That's what I have.
Oh, it's not one. Okay.
So
Go ahead.
that's
What's
the
happening here? The
solution
solution.
here. And this is the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. Right.
You want to open the video?
And then this is in meters, right?
Second one.
Okay, so where's the result?
170.83.
Oh, okay.
And 170.93.
Negative here because this is negative.
Yep.
Yes.
Make it into the
Is that right? This is strange. Let's try and get it.
Because they'll refuse your transfer. But they don't know what net idea starts.
They're just assholes.
It's just been sitting around.
Oh, I thought you drank.
Because this ends up being 2 times that over that.
That'll be T by
T.
Okay, yeah, I don't understand. I was.
I'm not aware.
Because that's what
Nothing, do nothing. Drinking alcohol sneaks up on you so bad because you don't drink that. So when they start getting hydrated, throw it all in the air, like out of that whole 12, you don't. I can miss the hit.
What's your theater, right? 70.9 is going correct with the 68, but the second part, the second part, right? Right, actually, it's fine. I'm gonna read it, everybody got it correct.
Yeah.
You go before? Did you do before? And she gotta do it? Yeah. You should click this one, and it's show that you do it. Scroll down to 2.22.
There may be, hold on, let me see, I think I might know what the issue is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That seems to be right. For that one, I got it to be minus 47. That's the conditions. Well, 13,800.
I don't know. Just give me.
Right. Because let me use a calculator with the numbers. I'll see what I get.
No, she actually left me an altar. We just decided to party anyways. Uh, 55 liters, 11 ATM, and 152 IBU. Where are you going?
Converse with our professor.
Yes.
Sorry, okay,
So I'm actually looking at another one.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
no, it's
I
okay.
really don't know what I'm doing with the PC, because I have P, right, P is the ATM that I'm giving, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's 3 over 4 pi
I
V.
don't know what the right password is. Oh, no, wait, okay.
So this font is very close to that, means that means
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Hold on. I have.
So how do I find PC? So I know,
Yeah, so you have to do the algebra, right?
yeah.
You have to do the algebra. And that way.
So, you wanna know what my problem is?
This should be the equation, right?
It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's
Squared.
Right, because we have, remember we have the, we were saying the double L's, actually.
Oh, so you plugged it all.
You have to, yeah, so we have the, like, as you're saying, delta L to delta L, right? And so we have.
How's your inputs?
These are, but these are.
The R1.
The R1, right?
R1 squared.
So yeah, R1, sure, yeah.
This is the one that's kind of close to
B one down here, R1 square over there. And then you have B2 here and R2 square. Does that make sense?
So I said, so I solved for PC and stuff?
Yeah, you solve for PC first. Solve for PC first. Does that sound good?
You know.
Okay. No, I'm glad you're asking that.
Thank you.
What happens by record? I mean, I was trying to find it, so
It's like plastic. Dude, this is insane.
quieres que pensamos ¿Tú tienes tu
Yes, I will in a minute. Sit down and chat. Yes.
They never made it the first time. Because I just threw away It was like 83%. Specifically to the grad school, I was like 22. They sent them all to like to look at me on shit like that.
Do they actually?
I mean, it works most of the time. Less than physics, but I mean, it's these two who sent them a picture of the same snap from the same person, same time. Video. So we unadded those two items. He's like, but kind of. Yeah. Michael probably was not a lie. Oh, that was you? No, and then you said, oh no, these are bad. I got this, when I got the call, it was like this money, and I figured it looked like this in the area code was hell that we always see. So I thought numbers were awesome, because the first thing you said was Matt, and I was like, not Matt, and then you were like, I was like, I'm so sure. And then I was like, yeah, because you said Matt, and you said Mike, and I was like, no, not Matt. I'm looking for this, and then you were like, no. Yeah, even if you figure out whatever you were about to ask me.
Yo siempre lo pongo en 25, pero no sé de subanos.
It was like 4
O sea, sí, bien, pero cuando digo que pasa, se lo bajo uno.
What's up?
Oh yeah, that was Sunday, hence the text I used that night, like, yo,
El examen el fin de semana, ¿no?
Oh, wait, let me see. No, like,
because if I was just like wrong, and I was like,
Sí.
like, I really, you know, like,
Sí, el miércoles.
I was like, nah, I'm getting up tomorrow.
just a heads up, I don't know if I'm coming to class tomorrow, but that is, I probably won't.
Por suerte, tengo
You just said the same thing twice, because
Bueno, el sábado.
Like, you can be like, I definitely won't be there the second time, but I may not be there, I probably will be there.
Well, cause May was like, there's a small chance we'll probably be
Y
there.
no puedo poner el día porque
And definitely
I
gonna be,
mean,
there's
there's
definitely
mucha tarea.
no meeting.
Llegué a
I
aprovechar el
see
sábado y
like
domingo.
all the time, right, for the first time.
Me la pasé fan.
Okay, I got the same answer. You got like minus 32 for that first
Yeah,
one.
I got negative 34, but.
I got minus 32
34.
megapascals when I did it by hand. There's 13.8 kilonewtons, right? 1.2 centimeters, 17.8 newton meters,
Yeah.
and 1.2 centimeters.
Wait, why do you why do you give the percentage questions?
Give me a second.
Nah.
Tengo bastante cosa.
It's really good. It is really
Yo me levanté temprano.
No.
No, I give up. I've never done this question. I give up. Actually, Oh, wow.
Yo me levanté a las 8.
Good. That's all it.
Why do we need
Paré, me sirví un juguito de
Cuando te levantas, te levantas.
yeah, in one direction?
Yeah, you don't worry about the
direction is sensitive.
I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah, but you don't worry about it. You're only dealing with.
I did this question, I know. You just.
Oh, which one are you doing? Are you doing the same one?
I got it wrong. I actually think I got it. It's alright. It's alright. Straight X, you do this. You find this and this, right? X and Y. It's a cylinder. So find the stress and the x stress and the y. Plug
It's
in.
not Z, right? You should be there.
It's zero.
It's zero.
Z is zero.
En mi casa
This is my work.
porque
That's the y, that's the x.
Wow.
Put the knife in my mouth. Oil stated.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so.
I feel like
Because it bothered me that.
no, muy bien.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so prepared to be like, I actually really needed that.
The same,
Así en fruta.
and then the beauty, and then, and the beauty.
I know, but that's why.
No,
You just, everything here is done effectively. Is the, pressure inside, basically then you, everything in, you mean, just algebra, and so, it's all,
Estaba leyendo de
our radius is actually in one plus the. This is equal, that's helpful. Yeah. This cut is down.
Okay, so it's just that.
This is
It's
Sí, sí, sí.
basically in
Me
that.
levanté con mi
Yeah.
Yo, cuando estaba atrás cuando decía que era segundo. Porque decía que empezaba y lo hacía en la mañana. Clases de la
I would have found that out myself. Just like,
I'm already sure.
thank you.
ya está muy
I
bien.
do the algebra, arrange it all, get VC on top. And if you see our B.
After we get that.
If you see, and if you give our, for the other one.
Nunca me
The
lo
R, yeah. As equal.
Cuando tú eres chiquito, o a ti te hicieron circuncisión, o te lo sacaron tus padres chiquitos. Te lo paraste. Tú sabes que tú, cuando te ves
Queda justo en la orilla.
Yeah, I got it.
te lo sacas con cierto.
No, literalmente. Yo no estaba preocupado por eso. O sea, esto está todo, o sea, los números bien pegados, pero como se iba despegando. Y salía como una cosa blanca. Y yo me quedaba.
Yo recuerdo que cuando tenía 8 años, yo me hice casi todo, yo estaba gordo.
He says it's false allegation.
Pero creo que me arrepiento. Yo no me acuerdo.
Y por decirte a las personas que se hacen de un moco.
Yo no sabía que se me seca. Que se seca.
Esos eran los que trabajaban así en el patio, que siempre cuidaban a la princesa,
Pero
para que
se
no se la...
seca. Si yo no tengo piel, obvio, se me seca. Yo le dije que,
Was Pascal to ATM?
o sea, si lo dejas mucho tiempo destapado, no se te seca.
Lo que le hago.
Sí seca. Pero no, sí me gusta.
Wait, you have to use internal radius, right?
Es el jugador de todas las fallas.
¿En serio?
Es el jugador que no falla.
Pobrecito.
Internal radius and
Ah, mira, no tomaste el estado.
comes from the.
Ah, te me regalaron. Y eso sí está en mi laptop, ¿no?
Huh?
He's doing the back.
No, you can use it from
No.
I was gonna write that, so actually you're right.
Yo no lo entiendo, mi hermana me la tiene así, está. Siempre tengo que ir a hacer esto. Ella cuando la usa, mi hermana me dijo, esto pero yo como me dijo, ahora nunca se la mataba.
Okay, try now. I think I know what I might have done. Well, hold on. Oh, don't try it yet. Hold on. Let me just. I have to do. I think I found my mistake.
Okay.
I think I did. Yeah, I was. I think I distributed the 4/3 or something. Try it now. See if it works. Put in the new numbers. It should be updated. Okay. Let's talk. Hold on. Sorry, yes, I got you out.
That too.
Rutgers Recreation Center. The same place they got a parking ticket.
You know what? I get the burger right after work.
I better be able to. I better be able to.
Oh, dude, no, there's no way a single person would work at a creation if they were Are you doing like so much in your class?
This one was. Oh, so you. But also, I don't know. I can, I'll have to discuss my.
So listens to like your kids.
I don't know. Just, this is really, like.
Yeah, I mean, my dad did my literally. And he was a lifeguard.
That's crazy. What did you? Good room, well, English. All I know.
So you have professional side.
Oh.
How do you get
I guess so.
Nice to wear on the park.
Where are you parking your cars? You're blue later. Blue, where you park? Why you park there? You're your staff.
I'm staff. Your staff.
I don't know.
So how do you know this? Because like Wednesdays, we know fish.
There was a sticker. I was sticker. So what happened is yesterday, I parked at work. We walked out of class, so our cars together. I was at work. Then I moved my car to the left. To go to my other class because it was close. And I was like,
That's where you got all
I got a ticket. I had two yesterday. One at work and one in that lot. Within like an hour of each other. Isn't that $100? Because $100.
Wait, so you parked in blue lot?
Is that the one behind your right side?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wait, Mike, did you guys check our lot?
Honestly, you guys are here for
I haven't gotten to this. Now I am so worried now that I'm too long.
There's no computer, literally the higher part is down there. Yeah. You need to move my car? Why need to move my car? I have my keys with me, I'm sorry. Where is it? What's wrong with it? Oh, fuck. Shit. I mean, I'd say I could take drive and give it to you, but I don't have that. Okay. Do you, if you want to come get the keys, you think come get them, I can give them to you, or I can take a bus back if you need to.
You're fucking crazy, bro. Your shit definitely like.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I don't know. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know, but my keys are here. I'm sorry.
Have you ever stalled me? Have you ever stalled me?
Okay,
I don't know hose, bro. You need my cards for my hose, bro. This is like, move the hose.
put the hose under the car.
I don't know.
Just put the hose under the car.
Awesome.
Boom.
Wait, what are they?
Whatever.
I parked it under
I parked it in this convenient spot because I feel bad, but it was.
Were you like, well, I guess like, can't just like, hey.
Like they're outside, there's no, that's legit. It'll stop her. You just put it right under
I know,
your
yeah.
car. You can do 2 weeks. Okay.
Oh my god, I can't even
did you, how did you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I have a
Wait,
class,
that's
so
hard.
I was just gonna stay at class, but now I'm thinking, do I just?
Awesome. But you know, the bus only every half hour, only 2 buses each way.
No, I mean, I wouldn't ask to drive back, I'd ask to get treated there, no.
You live there? Yeah.
Let me
You
take
can
some-
ride back, we can drive there.
Let me see. I feel bad asking you guys just to give me rides all the time, it's just fun.
It's really not a little train station or something, right?
Oh,
She's my friend's a chauffeur, he's been married for.
No, that thing is me too, so I have my class too, so every time I need like to get groceries.
There's like one fill off with that aspect.
Bro, you could be the only person fully in East That's not, and do this fuck over with a handicap spot outside of disability.
Dude, what are you talking about?
I'm saying workers are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
They hate this. I swear to God, go to Rutgers, it's like they're mad that they have students.
No, the thing is though, like,
Fucking have students.
the funny thing, like, County College, all the buses are free, you just gotta go there, register your car, you get stickers, it's free for like 5 years. And like, you can't call them like staff lots, a lot is enough. Like, that's when,
If I'm ever rich,
yeah, really, they yell a lot every.
okay, I know I get it. You just have to count.
That was a really funny video. You guys know King of Gates?
Wait, like, if you use the equation, gives you the free race.
Yeah, but how do you get
What do you think?
like, how do you get the internal pressure of the plane? Like, what's pressure at sea level?
Pressure, so you just say 0, zeros, put it that way.
Oh, okay.
So literally, you have this, that equation is higher than 0 and 10,000 tall. Yeah, you would look at this.
This car battery was this bad. It's like if I did, like I'm rid of my children.
Kill this guy.
Bro,
Who is that?
King Gates. Just watch this.
I didn't jump.
He just wants to kill his children.
I'm like, dude, this guy is
Wait,
so
is he
quick.
claiming? Is he claiming that he's like grabbed the terminals in the battery? He's like, oh,
Listen to it. Brett's just being bad.
our body's electrical. Electrical.
Wait for the next one. Those are 2 different people. They had the exact same thing. Yeah, this is smart.
Oh, it's just 101. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I feel like a child.
No, it's the same one.
Since I have a whole crowd just like tries to defend himself. Oh my god, we're doing a peaceful races.
Oh my
Here you go.
Dude, it's fucking
He's on a date.
But you see the first time? What's up?
all IB-bound, they were all IB-bound kids in the group chat. They got kicked out of high school when I was in college. And they also got into legitimate legal trouble.
For what?
More pressure for the two of the group stress.
Group stress is for pressure, for like, soldier? Yeah, just, if you ever did,
Like, what goes on with group chats?
The group chat sounds
Especially to like, and like,
those group chat is things
three, like, saying like group chats, dude, like back in the day. 360, like I saw 360.
Very model,
Yes, like
model
three.
with
I never
the-
heard of
Shawnee
it.
got the fact, definitely got some shit that is not good in there.
Do you know that one video Sam did?
It's really like 9
Oh.
There's one video.
Oh.
And you'll spec it when it comes up, like any of the next
No one will ever
I'm
say.
gonna open up. Just see it, how long the page is showing for some. So we're fixing that, bro.
Someone said I.
I was in the airport, like,
What?
One of my favorite things of all time is like,
Pues si tú
back when like
pensas-
that stuff started, the memes about PlayStation's chats that we first started coming out. It's like the floor guys that are in our cars, so you go to them like. Seen that clip? It's like there's three of them singing out.
Alright,
It's like me and the boys on the I'm recording when you just
alright, so within the last 3 messages, the first text message saved is, I don't really need it, but it's not great.
That's that bad.
I also said that.
I mean, it's more one.
With me and Sarah, just passing. My brain didn't work. I actually tried to.
We're actually gonna call it into this. Do you guys have work?
I just got the other class of 6 and 10, but also doing.
Wait, did you get your, wait, I'm sorry, what exactly did you have to do these past couple days?
Oh yeah, so, okay, here, go to the Word document, this is the Word document. Look at this, it's like 20 pages.
Are these all different questions?
Yeah, that's all. I didn't have that in fun of it.
Yeah, this was that night, that was the one that.
We finished every minute, but like, yeah.
That's crazy.
You know,
My other one, no,
I don't know. Let's just say when I submitted it like last minute, I had like one question, that was like, I should have made it quick and it must have been. That was, I think it was like. He was like, hey, they got him walking.
It's so funny. Just like I'm thinking,
He was like, bro, I saw the babies.
He had everything he was set for, because he just won $6,000 on a gamble and decided to celebrate with an entire
Fifth or fireball.
before him. That hates me.
that was me last night, except I was celebrating losses.
That was me last night, except everything sucked.
I'm actually, like, yesterday was terrible.
Oh, this one was, I thought this was Gold Expenditures.
And the smells and clones.
This is what's for. That ruined my whole day.
He's caused me so much stress.
Bro, I've been doing that last week. I've been reading my review.
Yes.
It's easy, bro. I didn't hate doing that. Do I still get paid the same?
I love the mind tech shit. Thanks. Works, man. That was his walk. It was really like,
Because I'm gonna look like I'm looking at you.
I think you should like next to the next video, like towel drop. No worries, I'm wearing a box. This one.
That's your location.
I didn't. You read that from my brother's Instagram.
Obviously.
I didn't get it. I was looking crap. Oh my god, we there. Phil Joseph on the sunset. He takes off his shoes one day, he's reading the fucking socks. That's like me and my grandma.
There?
There's one where he said there's no top. I think I Photoshop this in here.
It was so new.
Swear to God, she was very proud of him. While everyone was saying, got up, his computer, and I watched her too. Not like that.
Deep mode in life that made us relook how we like to see the world, like or something like that. At the age of
Well, what are we?
sophomores, that happens for all of us. So her hair was made that year. Caught on fire. Put the bugs in her room. In detail. You should see when airplanes how like be replaced.
So the teacher took a towel. Why is there whether
Like-
it's just normal.
The teacher, you said teacher said
It's not like five.
or whiteboard, and he started this
That was.
Yeah, she said that she was a screaming, she didn't know what else to do. And I'm like, you just grabbed the towel and started.
What's the other part?
I remember five. That's a fucking bad moment away.
That's a moment of making right there.
But then, okay, it's just.
Like you walk, it's not like you walk in, you bring back, just chill out.
I just take that
Like you
context.
look at the door.
It's like, cause I have to check.
Like a hair on fire. It's probably a real story. The one guy pulls off the. This is a magic. Not like
Let's face on that.
She's so proud of the shower.
Sometime, right, for some kicking.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna give me a job, so I'm working on the same project, there's another kid in my class. He needed his number. That's.
Can you hurry up?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, don't leave yet because I haven't taken attendance. Yeah, just give me a second.
Carlos is left.
Carl, oh,
Well, you know, Carlos was.
I know he was here. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me take attendance. You can leave. Okay, I now know. I'm sorry, you just almost left before I took attendance. And then I get a message saying, you guys didn't take my attendance. I'll be like, alright, hold on.
I really have to get in my car now.
Sam 2 is next week.
What's that?
Sam 2 is next week.
Okay. Michael, yeah,
No,
let me talk to Michael and then I'll, what's your question?
Don't worry about me.
I'll come and get that. What do you want
Where
to
close is your sign?
If you just died in student center.
Just good life insurance.
So you were right, essentially? So
Unless you want to do the other one by college now.
Hold on. Oh, okay.
There's other stuff.
That's okay, no. It's okay. It's just there's stuff here. Alright, let me just see one thing real quick.
What's up with the news? If you guys don't want to just stay on campus, I'm just stay here. We all stay. How long is it? I've done the class.
Okay, let's go.
I'll do it. Oh, you're gonna be paper eraser. This one? It's in the students. Which, the Bush one or? Oh, it is. I mean, I think it's. Where, if there's anyone who knows that I can park.
Oh, yeah. If you move a lot, the floor over there, actually, technically he's gonna probably see when they're, I don't see that. I really know Dunn's around there too. I don't know Blue Lot, he said, you gotta take it in Blue Lot, where you park right there. Where? Right, straight down that way, not the back there, where you put it, over there, or me and Mike.
No, I'm parked there now. Oh, yeah, well, my park's there.
I wanna go on this one side so that.
Oh my God, look at that.
There's like a.
That's the tripping nightmare right there.
didn't work. It's trying that, not working.
Okay, so,
Well, so that bending here,
is it causing a negative or a positive normal stress?
why would it be negative?
Okay,
Why?
so let's just think, superposition wise,
Mhm.
right? Well, it's causing the beam, right? If I'm looking at it, it's causing the beam to go like this, right? It's causing the, so there's gonna be
Bending
a.
that, bend in that way?
No, so it's bending, imagine I'm applying a moment,
Yeah.
right? And I got it like this, I got it like that, right?
Kind of like buckling in a way. Not really.
Yeah, well, buckling is kind of described this way with a slight, eccentric, distance, okay?
So it's relieving the force on there, in a way?
So no, just think in terms of deformation, right? If I bend a beam like this, which side is in compression and which side is in tension?
One reverse tangent.
Right, so which is the longer side? If I,
That's it.
that side, right? And then this is in compression on this side, right?
It's negative.
Okay, so they're both, so that's negative, and now P, right, obviously going down is negative as well.
Oh. So that together?
They add together negatively.
Oh. Answer's negative, essentially.
Yes,
Okay,
two negatives. That's what we're getting
I
at,
see.
okay?
Okay.
Sometimes it's helpful to think about the deformation to be able to get out the stresses.
The next exam is next Wednesday, right?
That's right. So it's a week from tomorrow.
It's gonna be on everything through session 19, or something like that.
That's a good question. I had this worked out. Let me just pull up the syllabus. It should cover everything through session 20.
Right.
Absolute max shear stress. So what we were doing the day before, right? That
Plane stress.
subject, plane strain, that's not going to be on there. Session 21 won't be, but session 20 will be.
Alright.
So we're going to get through more circle. Because, yeah, like when I've done it in the past, the absolute max shear stress, it's not that much of a stretch from more circle once you've already done more circle. It's a couple of things.
Is the final cumulative?
Yes, well, you know, the
4
final
hours?
is weird. You know how these exams are short or longer? Right, exams 1 and 2.
2 hours to.
Right, but the final will actually be
Same-
shorter than we normally have. Because normally the final is
Yeah,
3 hours.
right.
This is just gonna be the 2 hours.
Because that's what we have in the class?
That's right.
So
That's all we have in the class.
So how many questions? Like 3 or 4?
Usual?
It'll probably be like the usual, right? Because there's not enough time
Right.
to
Okay.
do more.
Well, I mean, really, Albit's guy can't not be cumulative because if you give a complicated problem, it's going to involve all the original stuff,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Thank you both. See ya.
bending around the central axis, correct?
So it's bending.
Or bending around the far right.
Yeah. So like if you think of it, there's. So this is actually in the one note.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually bending
Oh.
about this, what I'm calling Z here,
Right.
right? That's
I remember
the, okay,
Okay, so that's up.
yeah.
So then it's PA times A again. Over I,
Hmm.
right?
And what's important is that
And then
the B-
in the I, it's B times 2A squared.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was doing. Sorry.
and also make sure that when you're calculating out the normal stress, it's minus P over 2A times
also
B.
so, yeah. Wait, did I mess that up just now? Yeah, I messed up that. Okay, there we go. That's the problem. Okay, thank you.
All right, yeah, no problem. I'm glad. Yeah, so if, as you know, if you have questions, again, please send a message in the group me. Happy to take a look at it. It's with this class size, it's nice. I can actually answer.
Yeah.
When a class gets really big,
Yeah.
it's really I just can't keep up. The other thing also is in the past I was and still but much more in the past focused on getting the content up. So now I don't have to spend as much time on getting the content up. I can spend a little bit more time with the interaction.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Great. Thank you.
sure. Okay, thank you, everybody.